The Sacramento Kings are a team we need to keep an eye on because they are not done making moves. We all know this offseason they made a big splash by trading for DeMar Derozan from the Chicago Bulls, and now it seems like their roster is truly ready to compete for a championship this year. With De'Aaron Fox running the point, Domantas Sabonis running the front court, DeMar Derozan comes to the team as a huge upgrade over Harrison Barnes, and if I'm gonna keep it real, this team is gonna be extra exciting this year. But we just got a crazy report that's gonna shock the NBA world. The Sacramento Kings may have another big trade in the tank. Are you kidding me? After getting an all-star of DeMar Derozan, they're not done making moves. Source reveals that the Sacramento Kings are still eyeing Zach Lavine or Brandon Ingram. Get ready for all the Zach Lavine trade rumors this season. For the beginning of the season until the NBA trade deadline, Zach Lavine is going to be the hottest name on the market for a backcourt player that a team that is pursuing a championship is going to give up a lot for. And with this rumor that we're hearing, the Sacramento Kings could be in the picture. We can't forget about Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram right now is on the Pelicans, and the Pelicans are clear that they do not want to give Brandon Ingram that extension. Brandon Ingram has tried getting it this past offseason, but the Pelicans are moving on, focusing their future with the newly added DeJounte Murray on the squad. So the Kings are like, hey, this all-star is available, let's target him too. But what's special about Zach Lavine and Brandon Ingram is that right now, their trade value is at an all-time buy low. NBA teams around the league knows that the Bulls and the Pelicans will take anything for Zach Lavine and Brandon Ingram. They just want them off the roster so they can be flexible after the new CBA rules. But the Kings are not thinking about their future. They're thinking about winning a championship now. And this is why they are not done making moves. Shout out to SeatGeek for sponsoring Easy Buckets. Guys, SeatGeek is the greatest sponsor of our channel because they want Easy Buckets fans to get cheap tickets to go to an NBA game. And you have the ability to buy cheap NBA tickets on SeatGeek. Not only does SeatGeek have NBA tickets, they have tickets to concerts, music events, any other sports games, so get your cheap tickets on SeatGeek today. And when you're buying your tickets on checkout, you have to use my promo code EasyBuckets because you will get an extra $20 off USD, and your cheap tickets will just get even cheaper with my code. Get your cheap tickets on SeatGeek today, and thank you SeatGeek for sponsoring the channel. At the beginning of this week, the Kings traded Jalen McDaniels and a second-round pick to the San Antonio Spurs. And you see here, when this move happened, this was the beginning of the trade rumors where fans knew that the Kings were up to something. An NBA exec says the deal was a cost-cutting move that led to many people speculating whether the Kings may be gearing up for a win-now deal. And that's exactly what's happening because the Kings are now looking at Brandon Ingram and Zach Lavine for the win-now mentality. The Kings were extremely busy this week. They also signed Doug McDermott, an NBA sharpshooting veteran, to join their championship roster. The Kings are trying to build depth and also go for a star in the same time. Matt Issa on Twitter says, from what I've heard, it seems like the Kings are not done making moves after this Doug McDermott signing. Zach Lavine or Brandon Ingram is still a goal of theirs. So how can the Kings get Zach Lavine? I'm telling you right now, it's not going to be easy. Zach Lavine in exchange for Malik Monk, Kevin Huerter, and Trey Lyles. This is the deal that would send Zach to Sacramento. Easy Buckets fans, let's just dream a little bit here. Imagine this perfect roster for the Kings. Their starting lineup is so well balanced with De'Aaron Fox at point guard, Zach Lavine shooting guard, Keegan Murray, DeMar Derozan, and Domantas Sabonis. This is a contending team. But what about Brandon Ingram? Brandon Ingram is actually a little bit more affordable than Zach Lavine due to the contract that he's on. For Brandon Ingram, it would just be Malik Monk and Kevin Huerter and a second-round pick in exchange for BI. This would be the deal for Sacramento to land BI, and then they would have two scorers that can score 20 points per game of BI and DeRozan at the forward. So this is what the Kings are trying to do. They're trying to go all in for a win-now mentality, but I think that their roster doesn't need Brandon Ingram or Zach Lavine. Sportscasting says Lavine and Ingram are great players and former All-Stars. However, trading for either of them wouldn't make sense for the Kings from an on-court perspective. Lavine and Ingram are offensively slated on-ball stars. The Kings already have an abundance of that in DeMar Derozan, De'Aaron Fox, Malik Monk, and Domantas Sabonis. What the team really needs is size, shooting, defense, and secondary rim protection. And I absolutely agree. They need another big, not another guard, not another forward, not another offensive player. They need another defensive player, and the perfect one I have in mind is Robert Williams of the Portland Trail Blazers. Report comes in, Kings are interested in trade for Blazers big man Williams III. Sacramento is among multiple teams that have registered interest in Portland Trail Blazers center Robert Williams III. He would be an excellent backup in Sacramento. Robert Williams is only 26 years old. He's known to being the Time Lord, known to being a rim protector, and just a great defensive player when he's on the court. And to be honest, Robert Williams right now in his career doesn't need to be a starting big. He needs to come off the bench and be an interior presence, and that's what the Kings need from him. The Portland Trail Blazers just drafted Donovan Clingan, a center that they're going to develop their future around, and their starting center is DeAndre Ayton. Robert Williams has no place in that rotation. And on a low-end deal, the Kings can make something happen by not giving up too much. The Kings can offer up Alex Len and Trey Lyles and a second-round pick in exchange for Robert Williams to secure their rotation in the front court. This is my favorite deal for this video. Zach Lavine going to the Kings would just be more of a fun NBA blockbuster trade. He would join DeMar Derozan as they were just previous teammates on the Bulls and of course help them be a shooting guard scorer, but I don't think the Kings need him. And that's the same for Brandon Ingram too. Sean Cunningham says sources confirm the Sacramento Kings are pursuing a trade for Brandon Ingram. I'm told the Kings have discussions with the Pelicans, and it's worth noting, Ingram was an emerging star under coach Alvin Gentry, who works in Kings front office. But Matt George of Sacramento has a response saying there are so many complications to a Kings Brandon Ingram trade, from money to what the Kings would offer, not to mention the competition between Sacramento and New Orleans. The Kings have interest is absolutely believable, but I remain skeptical of a deal actually getting done. The competition is simple between the Kings and Pelicans. The Pelicans actually beat the Kings in the play-in tournament last season, so there's a little bit of competition there. The Kings need to go for a big, and Robert Williams is the ideal under the radar target. So there it is, Easy Buckets fans. The Kings are not done making moves. Leading up to the NBA trade deadline, expect something to happen because the Kings want to capitalize their time now with De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis. Another trade or not, the Kings are still going to make the playoffs, and I'm excited to see how DeMar Derozan fits in with De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis. But I want to know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section down below if the Kings should make another move or should they stay put. Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves are hiding something special about this upcoming season on the roster. Karl Anthony Towns was traded to the Knicks, and everybody thinks that their team got worse, but I've got a lot to talk about here. So check out this video on the screen to not miss the action, but other than that, take it easy, God bless, and I'll see you all next time on Easy Buckets.